we're going to be talking about doing things like tracing, copying. Does that make you a cheater? Are you a cheater? Well, let's find out. We're going to talk about the logistics behind what it takes to be an art cheater. Okay, real simple. There are 3 factors when dealing with tracing, okay? And to determine if you're cheating, and if you are cheating, you're really only cheating yourself. Is that fair enough, Adam? Fair enough? Okay. There's arts, there's crafts, and there's mass. Now, what does that mean? If I wanted to, this is my one little reference that I was given, and by given I found, if I wanted to learn to draw this, and I traced it, then I am cheating. That is a little bit like cheating because I'm learning not to draw this, but I'm learning to copy it. Okay? Does that make sense? If I wanted to draw an apple or a person or my friend's dog, I don't know why, I don't even have any friends. The bottom line is, by copying or tracing a photograph, I'm not really learning proportion. I'm not doing the work. And so I'm cheating myself out of the experience. But it's okay. It's okay to use all these different tools we have to make our lives easier. But if your end game, and that's really what this is all about, what's the end game? If your end game is to become a better artist, I would say you're cheating yourself if you're using tools such as the ones that we're going to go over a little bit later to help you trace. Now, if you're just, a hobbyist and, you wanted to just, hey, I want to reproduce this just this one time. I'm not really interested in learning to draw a black and white phoenix or whatever it is. That's okay. It's just a tool. We're just trying to get through things. Most likely it's a gift because I don't want this, so I'm making it for some other person, probably my wife, that does. So by using the projector, the other various things to copy this, I'm not cheating. I'm just making my life easier. In fact, it's making me more intelligent. Now, the other thing, mass. So I said there's arts, crafts, and mass. If I am doing something, a fine art project or something like that, whether it's for a client or work, and I've got to do a lot of it, well, I'm not being paid necessarily for my my skills of deductive art and perspective. I'm getting paid to get a job done, probably on a deadline. So by using one of these tools, it only behooves me to move faster. In fact, you're doing people a favor. Okay, does that make sense? We've got art, in which case you're cheating yourself, crafts, and mass. These are the things that I would say that you should consider whether or not you should be using a device to help you trace, okay? And unless you're getting graded by school, you're not cheating. And if you're going to art school, yeah, it is cheating, if you're using a tracing machine, because you're not learning the real art. But let's move on from that. I've already said it too many times. I'm going to talk about the 3 P's of cheating. No, the 3 P's of tracing. P number 1. This is the first P. Tracing paper. Paper. It's tracing paper. It's P. The P is for... All right, you get the idea. This is going to be probably the least expensive option by far. It has advantages and disadvantages, and biggest advantage is you've probably already heard of this. You might even have some. You just take your image, you slide it underneath, and you trace. And that's it, and it's done. When you do it this way, most likely your final art you don't want on tracing paper, so what I would suggest doing is probably something along the lines of taking like a water-soluble pencil and tracing it in that, and then using water to put it on the surface you want it to go on. In fact, if I was doing it that way, I might reverse this, and I don't know if you can see this on camera, but you can still see through it enough so that it doesn't, that way you're not doing the inverse of it, if that makes sense. There's a lot of crazy things. Whenever somebody turns something over, it's like time travel to me. It doesn't make sense. All right, second P. Panels. Light panels. Now, we're moving up in the world, of tracing, and this can be a little bit more expensive. And the second P panel is actually the Acurit light tablet, which has no P in it at all, which is just sad for it. What makes light panels great is that you don't have to worry about that time travel stuff I was talking about, upside down, this side up. Everything just traces really nicely, and because it's so strong, or can be so strong, watch this. I'm about to blow your mind. And actually, I don't know how much I'm going to blow your mind with studio lights, but you can change the intensity, mind blown, right? Even still there, of how bright it is. And because of that, I can trace, let's see if I want to do it that way. I can trace something right on top of, like, this is a 140-pound watercolor paper, right? I've even used this stuff on canvas. I just didn't even have any on here. This will actually go through canvas. So I can trace without having to go upside down, inside out, left and right over this. A good practice is to, just secure it down, because, if you start tracing and one thing moves, everything, you got to reline it up, and it's a big pain in the arse. So that is your second P. Your third P is such a big P, I don't even have one here, mainly because it's a P in the A to demonstrate under studio lights, and that's a projector. Projectors come in all different kinds, sorts, and sizes. You have an image load projector, where you basically just take a photograph, put it inside the projector, a light bulb bounces light off the image, onto a mirror, onto the wall. That's a really great option, especially if you're doing something really large, like mural size, although you can get like a table-mounted projector, and it can do something similar to this. I would say one of the greatest advantages is scale and size. If you wanted to do something, bigger than, let's say, a sheet of watercolor paper, it's a great option. And they have digital projectors now, too. The digital projectors, you just put in the thumb drive, or if you're watching this video in 200 years, you just think at it, and it will display your image. So those are your 3 Ps for tracing, and the 3 reasons that you might trace, although I'm sure that you might come up with other ones, and if you do, well, put them below. Let's see what I left out, because I'm sure I left out something. It can't be that simple. It can't be just 3P simple. That's too simple. There needs to be a 4th P. I just haven't thought of it yet. All right, that's the end of this one. Did anybody see my P during that one?